Last November, President Xi Jinping and President Joe Biden met each other in San Francisco. Can that avoid the further escalation of tensions?
I would say that it is not a fundamental change of political attitudes in Washington. There remains a lot of anti-China sentiment. So part of it is just simple domestic political calculation. The other is geopolitical. The United States grand strategy, as the security state calls it, calls for U.S. dominance in all parts of the world. The U.S. Foreign policy is to prevent the rise of a so-called regional or global hegemon in different parts of the world. The United States opposes Russia mainly because Russia is big. The United States opposes China mainly because China is big and successful. I think American foreign policy needs to be redesigned for cooperation rather than this kind of antagonism. But the U.S.-China antagonism, in my opinion, is not based on any fundamental conflict, any fundamental source of inherent tension. It's based on the American view that any large competitor is inherently a threat. I view that as a mistaken idea and a dangerous idea, but that, to my mind, is the Washington idea. In my opinion, the U.S. and China are not antagonists. They are not enemies. They are not in some kind of zero-sum struggle. But then again, I don't believe in the whole approach of global dominance or hegemony as bringing any security to me as an American or to the world. I believe in mutual respect and cooperation as the basis of peace, not dominance. The United States strategy, however, is based on peace through dominant strength. To my mind, it's a losing idea, because if you try to prove always that you're number one, you end up in a lot of wars that weaken you rather than strengthen you. If you view the challenge as creating areas of cooperation and trust, it's much cheaper and much safer.
Both administrations imposed high tariff on China. Does that really help Americans?
I would say Biden has been worse than Trump, because Biden kept Trump's tariffs, but then added other kinds of restrictions, such as on the sale of advanced semiconductors to China and other kinds of technology barriers. These are Biden policies, not Trump policies. Now, what Trump would do in another administration is anybody's guess, but Biden did not ease the tensions. He built upon the Trump policies. This is not in the American interest, in my view. The American interest is in open trade and peaceful relations with China, not in protectionism and stoking tension or even conflict with China. But the idea is that it's claimed that China took the jobs away from the U.S. Well, it took away some jobs, it created other jobs. The politicians blamed China. This is a logical error, but it's also a political game in a way, because it has protected the rich in the United States from paying their due share of taxes, and it has put the blame for poverty or hardship on China, where it does not belong.
How do you see these top two economies, the importance of these top two economies go together on the world stage?
One is what China and the U.S. should be doing with respect to the global environmental challenges in their own economies, because both China and the United States need to make the transformation rapidly to a low-carbon economy. My view is that if this were done cooperatively, it would go faster than the way that it is going right now. The second is the role of China and the US in other countries and helping those other countries face these challenges. China has the Belt and Road Initiative, for example, which I believe is a very good policy. And I suggest that the United States should partner with China. The US should have its own investment program. And then in Africa, for example, work together with the Belt and Road Initiative to help provide electrification or 5G networks in Africa cooperatively between the US and China. This obviously is also not happening. The US has not been constructive in helping the poorer countries to make their own transformations. The most important way to do that would be through financial help and technical help, like the Belt and Road Initiative. But the United States has played almost no role in that. In fact, it attacks the Belt and Road Initiative, even though the Belt and Road Initiative is trying to make this constructive change, and it does not do on its own account what the United States should be doing.
How do you evaluate China's economy right now?
China is a dynamic economy, and the dynamism of China's economy is through its technological innovations. China is making major advances in supercomputers, in AI, and in other areas. In some cases, the US also big breakthroughs. But China is a highly innovative economy, and it's the low-cost producer of a lot of the critical technologies that the world needs, like solar, photovoltaics, like wind turbines, like large hydroelectric dams, like long-distance power transmission, batteries, electric vehicles, 5G, and others. So this is the most fundamental part of economic progress, innovation. And I would say China's a lot stronger today in innovation than it was even 10 years ago. There's been a big upgrading and a wide range of breakthroughs that are extremely promising, not only for China, but for the world. Of course, China has many short-term complications, say in real estate or in urban debt in some areas. That's normal in a complex economy. But if you want to look at the real prospects for China, you have to look a little bit under the surface and ask, is there new technology? Is there innovation? And the answer is absolutely yes.